Thank you so much, Aditya. You've been so kind. We've been struggling with the time in the first half, but I hope we catch up. But I'm looking forward to this panel discussion. We have celebrated face of startup world from the D2C sector, if I can say so. For this particular panel, I really looking forward to gauge industrial comments on how are you looking at the sector majorly growing. Number one, when we were seeing Q2 results of big companies, FMCGs, all the listed companies, one thing that I observed is there is a sluggish growth. The numbers are not too encouraging. There is a slower growth that was reported. And there were many comments that were put forward, many reasons, many factors, maybe the overall economic slowdown, maybe inflated prices, maybe the conscious spending, XYZ, many more. But one thing that stands out is a lot of consumers are attracted to the newer brands, to the startups. With such eminent panel, I really want to understand what are you guys doing to attract that mass towards you, irrespective of the sector? Why are the guys, the Gen Zs, the newest spenders are not going to the biggies, the behemoths, the giants, the established players in the retail sector, irrespective of the sectors, be it apparels, shoes, furnitures, home decors, XYZ sector? Why are the guys attracted to you? What is that one factor that you think, in your understanding, is attracting consumers to use the startups? Akshay, you want to go first?
I personally, hi Akshay here. So I feel, younger brands and, even D2C and, these days, young age brands, they're able to build that personal connect with the audience much more, whether it's online, whether it's, offline, whatever it is. But, even like for my brand, I run a beauty company. So it's a skincare brand. So me and my wife are ourselves the face for the brand. So it is not like, so that personal connect, what we are building up and being more transparent, using all these products and everything on ourselves, rather than, just giving, a generic message, ki, use this and this is going to help you with this. So we try to build that personal connect and be more, transparent in terms of what we are using in our products or what we are adding in terms of, ingredients or whatever it is. So that has really helped us personally. People say ki, yaar, ki, you don't have funds or, ki, you are very small scale and all. But we have literally built up very, bootstrapped, self-funded. And, how we have done that and, how we are challenging bigger companies is by building our personal connects with the audience and being faces for our brand. Like basically, our brand ke liye kuch bhi karo. मतलब you have to go to any extent and जो करना पड़ता है वो करो. उससे क्या होता है ना, bigger companies don't get into those kinds of stuff, but young brands like us, we are able to exploit that, and that is how I feel, you need to build that.
Your comments, please. Really, I mean, on this part where you said you need to get into the play, this is one thing that stands out for startups and startup founders, because the established players are not equipped that way to do that in a well-mannered system.
Yeah, so in our case, like what we do as a like more freshness to the table to the customer every month. So like biggies like Bata or any other like brands, maybe national or international, what they do is they launch a particular set of styles a year. So in our case, we are in fast fashion footwear brand. So what we do is we keep freshness all throughout the year. What we bring new styles to the table, to the sneakers market, what customers are demanding. So we follow the trends and bring more styles to the customers every month, around like 7 to 8 styles in various categories, those like sneakers, athleisure, boots. And the second thing is that we remain connected with the customers every time. So like in our case, like CRM is the most important department that we see. Like every order is shipped to the customer. What we do is we keep them tracked. We call the customer, track the NPS score, and then see like how customers are responding to it. So we take feedback across delivery. We take feedback across comfort, style, and everything. So that is what I believe. Like it is like more thing that we are doing is we connecting to the customers and giving them a superior customer experience.
Kamaljit, I'm coming to you. I mean, just to rephrase what I'm asking is, what is that one thing that the biggies are not able to do, not able to match?
I think,
Where are they lacking?
I'd answer it combining the both the questions that you put, Resham. Actually, most of the starters, if you see today, they start with technology and they add operations on top of it. So, or even operations for that matter has built, a lot of technology built in. Right, and which kind of puts them on a different pedestal compared to the, other organizations which are there.
Welcome, Himanshu.
Sorry.
We were waiting for you. I know sometimes Delhi traffic not helps you well, but yeah, welcome to the panel.
Yeah, so welcome. So the farmer cells themselves, they figure out operations first, they settle everything, and then they get onto the technology. So I think, starting with technology has kind of put them in a different steed altogether. They are much faster, much adaptable. They are able to pick, what is the pulse of the, customer and integrate very quickly. So this ability to kind of move very fast, I think that's what.
Given that you have mentioned about technology, I'll come to you later with a question on how data and technology is helping startups to scale better and reach their customers better. Saahil, your opening comments, and in which I would like to ask how in your opinion are you able to attract your customers? What is that one thing that you are able to do which is different from what FMCGs or the big giants in other sectors are doing?
So I think I'll answer this in two parts. I think one is the fact that I believe that at least what I do at Mila Beauty and what I think a lot of D2C brands are also doing and young brands are doing is that they are building a relationship with their customer. So I think that is one thing which I think the big wigs have kind of forgotten, or they kind of have pivoted into having much larger conversations. Without taking names, I mean, they instill a lot of fear. If they even talk about skincare, they will show a very wrinkled skin. So they still operate out of a very traditional way of marketing their product, which is fear. Whereas I think brands like ourselves have a relationship with our consumer. We never send messages which is dear, right? There's always a term, right? Like we call our customer Pookies because that they are cuties. Someone else calls them BFF. So I think there's a certain relationship, and the entire brand ethos stays within that relationship, which brings the consumer very closer to us. That is the step one. And the step two, which closes the step one, is listening to our customers. So I think. Which is what I think gives us a lot of speed. I mean, today I'm less than a year old as a color cosmetic brand, and we are doing about 70 crores in business and about 11,000 retail stores. That's the speed, and that's what happens if you listen to customers. Because in a cluttered category like makeup and color cosmetics, still to bring that one extra lipstick to that one more girl out there, all it needed was to just listen to what the customer needed. So I think it is these two things.
Understood. Fair point. Gagan, your comments, and also something on how niche into the niches, under the niches, how does it help? Do you really think in a world of, as Saahil said, Mila Beauty is doing something different? Beauty and cosmetics is a huge world, it's a huge category. How do you think you can do different? What can you do different? And what is that one thing that you think you are driving your customers through?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Gagan. I am the founder of India's first live popsicle making concept, Scuzo Isomagic. So why I have introduced myself in this way? The reason behind it, is very clear that when I call it India's first live popsicle making concept, when the concept, since we all eat ice cream like anything, we are I think that when I see exactly all generations, whether it's young or old age group, everyone likes ice cream, right? So since our childhood, we saw ice cream was something which was fascinating. After eating our lunch, dinner, or anything we wanted to eat ice cream, right? So at the same time now when I saw people, when they become a very much health freak, and then I saw into F&B, most of the brands, they are coming up with something sort of live concept, right? So then I said something where I can come out with something which is called health conscious and natural thing. When I call it natural, I can make something in front of you, And then we created an equipment called where like, we can freeze ice cream and then we can crush the fruit in front of you and we can make like popsicle. So that is something which, gives us like sort of a trust among our consumers. Like like whether like whatever they're eating something sort of healthy and natural in front of them. And that is something has changed a lot of perception. And then it's been like almost 4 years into this brand. And we are sitting from first to 53 stores in Pan India right now. So that is a trust, as Akshay said initially, something which I remember when I started my career, that was always service and ambience. When we categorize three things, into service industry, like service and ambience, product quality and value for money, whereas 56% of the ratio came always into service and ambience. So when we do provide a good service, and the best part is into the new startups, where we are very much about listening to our consumers, what they want. If something they want to be changed immediately, can be done immediately in front of them. So that is something listening and implementing those things in front of them, which gives them a satisfaction level, which is, I think, as we were talking about, like the old giants, they go through a lot of processes which startups are not doing it. Startups do implement it immediately. That's the change which we are creating right now.
Good to know. Himanshu, I'm coming to you. Himanshu has been a good friend. He's running two parallel D2C brands and now started investing also. A new feather in your head. I want to understand, with your experience, what would you say, what is that one advantage do you have as a startup? And how do you leverage that? Beyond that, how, also in the second part of this response, do try to answer how do you think how the biggies, the big corporates, the big FMCG, big retail players are trying to stay competitive? What are they doing?
See, seeing this D2C as a, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Himanshu. I'm the founder for Winston and Mila Beauty. And I come initially from an offline background and then getting into the D2C. So I've tasted both the waters, I've been off the table. So when you talk about the D2C brands, what they're doing right now, I would I'm very inclined to Saahil what just said, that you are talking to your consumers directly, you are getting the feedbacks. So this is something which has helped us also a lot of times. So we initially launched a hairstyling range which we introduced first, and after taking a lot of feedbacks from the consumers, what they were actually using the product, we actually sat down for a week, we called almost 500 customers individually and we spoke to them that what is that it's missing out that you guys want actually. So this is something which the big giants miss out, right? They have a long process, they have the technologies and all of that, where they take a lot of time to develop the product and introduce it. But initially the interaction with the consumers is not there, which is a point which they're missing a lot, and which actually helped us when we introduced the second, and it became a hit. Again, the initial launch, which was for the first range, it was only probably like 1 crore or 2 crore a month that we were doing. But for the second launch, what we did 5 crores a month. That's the speed of what the people were actually asking for. So that's something that the big brands now have started including the Gen Z cultures now. That's what they are doing, because they have to keep a check on the market, especially the age bracket of 18 to 30, where the mass audience of buying comes in, especially whether it is a FMCG or whether it's a cosmetics brand. So they started including Gen Z culture in the environment, because that's tough to handle, to be very honest. But yeah, that's they started doing now.
Interesting. I'm coming to you, Mr. Agrawal. Now, tell me, he slightly pointed out on how he has experienced offline and online both. We are seeing startups going crazy on brick and mortar. They're opening stores like anything. And this is irrespective of the sector. This is in jewelry, this is in beauty, this is in other sectors, segments also. What is your take on how and what are some of the advantages they have? A startup, why are they taking this approach? How is it helping? Because
So,
when we compare startups with the biggies, we always give extra point to the big companies because they have a settled, established supply chain, established infrastructure. Startups do lack there. It's a heavy capital way. Your comments on this? How are you seeing this? How are you evaluating
So-
startups going crazy about the stores?
So do you want like how an online brand can roll out an offline thing?
Not really. I want you to evaluate how well is this as a strategy. How are you, also tell me about how you looking at as an offline expansion plan.
So in Bacca Bucci, we are like majorly online, like till now. So we have an offline distribution, but that is not that strong. So 90% of our sales comes through online only. But in 2025, we do have plans to roll out offline stores. Majorly on like our core audience are Gen Z, likewise. So majorly of our audience are 18 to 30 years old who are buying our product. So online selling gives us a data insight where the customers are present. Like most of our sales happens through Maharashtra, Karnataka, Delhi. So we know the places from where the major chunk of sales is happening. So we know our audience. So that helps us to roll out the stores. That will help us to decide the places where we can cater to our audience more effectively. So that is what insights we get. Also, we keep taking feedbacks from the customers, and also we receive a lot of call from our customer itself, saying that we want to see the product physically and then we want to buy it. We want to see like how it looks before doing the purchase. So that helps us. Also, that helps us like estimating like where should we open the store and how should we do that. So even in 2025 we do have plans to roll out stores, and maybe I think within Jan and Feb we are already scouting the places, and by Jan or Feb we'll be coming out with 2-3 stores.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Kamaljit, your point, any specific point where, how do you evaluate seeing startups taking the heavy intensive capital route where we see startups going crazy about brick and mortar stores? Because this is a trend that we are seeing in the last 2 years going crazy.
Yeah,
What
see,
do you
I mean,
evaluate? How do you evaluate this?
None of this will happen without the investor blessing. So they have to buy into the idea of the fact that there's a market which exists and there is merit in going out. But I would say that at this point, that is that a model which can be rolled back also, because rolling out is very easy, but can you roll back some of that, or can you redeploy part of the assets that you have created, or can they be used for multiple purposes than just one? So, because everything is a physical infrastructure today. Today we see that, Blinkit has done dark stores. A lot of others are doing, and but it will be very, very difficult to list onto these platforms, because this means real physical inventory, right? So, a lot of big brands also, I have found them finding it very difficult to have them listed on Zepto, on Blinkit, because that's the practical issue that they are facing. Now, the other issue which, with respect to going physical and going all the way out is, estimation of your break-even points, etc. Because those become very important, and you are always under pressure as a startup. That how do you show that value back to the investor, and then operations become very important. The good part here is that everything is templatized today. So if you want, technology is there to support everything. You want as a CEO to see all the important reports, you'll be able to see it on the fly. You want to figure out what is going wrong, you can figure out which customers, groups are very important. The good part here though is, and not exactly the answer that you are looking for, but I'm just slightly digressing here. You would not believe, but it's the same household which is buying products from all of us. Same household, who's the biggest customer for you, actually is biggest customer for him as well, and for him too. And the ROI on those customers is like humongous. Humongous meaning, it's not like 3x or 4x. It's like 100x, 150x, 200x on the money that you are putting onto such a customer. So CRM is extremely important. Getting the right acquisition, right traffic, right households come to you. It's not about getting, some 100,000 households and creating stores which are going to cater to the lower end of the spectrum, because anybody will walk in technically for those stores. But online, you have the feasibility of reaching out to, the very, very targeted segments which are most influential for you, who are going to make biggest purchases for you, where ROI can be measured much easily. I would, if you ask me, and having seen at least 2 of the people we had been working with who had become earliest unicorns in the country, I can say online is actually 90% of the way. 10% offline can help you create that brand imagery, your presence, so that, that interest. And if you have an experience-oriented product, or an experience-oriented service, then I think anyway you would need a offline, store coming in. So physical stores where experience is very important. I would say that definitely stick with that. I mean,
Very interesting.
you could kill me for this, but yeah.
Very interesting. I must say very interesting. Himanshu, I'm coming to you. Can you give us a little insight on how investors are thinking about D2C startups? What is that one big trend that you are seeing? How our current capital is flowing? Can you share some of the insights there?
See, it's a very broad term that how investors are saying. So it depends, like on which sector basically these investors are putting in money right now. Because there was a time where this bubble burst out, and for good 2 years they were like 1 year you saw so many companies getting into a unicorn, and the other year it was just 2 companies. So it was a major shift in the investment circle.
Even if I specify this to a particular category, we have seen a lot of acquisitions and mergers happened in the last 2 years, specifically in the beauty and beauty space, beauty sector, in
House
D2C
of brands
only.
coming up.
House of brands coming up. That's another trend. How are you? Do continue.
See, when you talk about the investors which come up, so it depends on the category, it depends on the market size. A lot of factors come in when the investor is doing. So probably I have gone on more than 100 VC calls, right? So every call is important for us. We learn something on that call, like how the market trend is going out, whether they're ready to put in the money or not. So investors do take in the early times in 2016-17, we saw the money was flowing in, irrespective of how the market size would be, and the valuations went up to a crazy level till 2019. We've seen that, and there was a time when the companies were getting devaluated. It was totally on the market trend, and what investors now, I won't say what they were seeing in the past, but now at least they see that when the brand would come out in a profitable way. Right, people are burning right now, but you'll see the people who were burning money 5 years back. Now they started actually talking about like how much profitable we are coming in, whether it is Zomato or anything. So now investors are not only looking for comparatively, like earlier burn was not a thing, right? 5-6 years back, people like ठीक है burn हो रहा है, but now. But the burn word has been the investors avoid listening to it. So this has the change that we've seen.
This is something that you have put forward. I can see men nodding on the panel. Akshay, I'm coming to you. Kamaljit slightly pointed out how quick commerce helping D2C startups getting an edge. Talk to us about some of the challenges that you are seeing. We're seeing quick commerce. This is an era of quick gratification. Everybody needs a lipstick now. Everybody needs a kurta right before the barat ceremony. Everybody needs that product that he or she has ordered right now, right here in 2 minutes, 10 minutes. 10 minutes still now a big time. So 5 minutes, 6 minutes. What are some of the challenges that you're seeing?
I think this has really helped out. Quick commerce, for us as well, we are launching on Blinkit ourselves. So I feel, quick commerce is something because our customers demand from us, ki it shouldn't take a lot of time for deliveries. So even if, so I come from a small town, from Ludhiana. So what happens is for any kind of deliveries, either you are listed on Amazons or Nykas and all for, warehouses and people buy from there. But if you're selling, if you want to go pan-India, you need to have a quick service. So, I feel, to have that quick service, quick commerce is really important. And I feel it has really, because आजकल जो भी बैठा हुआ है, they all want, कि मैं अभी order कर रहा हूँ, आधे घंटे में product आ जाए. They don't want to wait. They basically are like, कि अगर 3 दिन आ रहा है, 4 दिन में आ रहा है, या ठीक है यार मैं था नहीं घर पे, so it's returned back to us. So a lot of these issues we face personally. That is why we are also trying to get onto places where we can give our services and our products to people in as quickly as possible. So that is what I feel. This is really helpful. And there are challenges when it comes to quick commerce. You mentioned that. But I feel this is going to be really good for younger brands as well. For people like us, we really want it should get into hands of people. So आज कोई अगर मैं लुधियाना से किसी को भेज रहा हूँ बैंगलोर में, अगर उसको प्रोडक्ट चाहिए, अगर मैं लिस्ट करता हूँ अगर Zomato, Blinkit पे कहीं पर भी, so I would want कि rather than ordering from my website, he orders from there. So because उससे क्या होता है कि आज it takes around 6 to 7 days यहाँ से delivery. So better he orders from there and it can get to him within minutes or within half an hour, whatever. So I think it is good only.
Circling it back to what Kamaljit had said initially, listing on these platforms is altogether another metrics. Are you giving us shoes in 10 minutes?
So in case of an footwear, there is another challenge for an quick commerce thing. So
That's correct. We were
yeah.
listening to somebody in the morning panel from Bacca, India. He spoke on the same point.
So there are many challenges. The first thing is the space the footwear takes, because the shoes comes in a boxes that mainly is volumetric. It goes up to 3 kilo or 3.5 kilos. And the second is return and exchange. So it is a highly return and exchangeable category. I think it is like around 20 to 25% of the customers who opt for return and exchange in case of in size, in case of in color, in case of in design that they expected, and the fit issues. So those are the major challenges that I see. And the second is fast fashion. In case of in fast fashion, we have many SKUs. Like we have more than 4,500 SKUs in which there are multiple colors and sizes. So that is another big challenge. So there are three major, I think, we are already in talk with Zepto. But even they are like very much facing the challenges how to launch these categories. So what we are doing is we are launching within selected few styles which are our top sellers. So just to see like how it goes on quick commerce, around like 7-8 style, launching them, looking at inventories and those things, because like space, it takes a lot of space. Footwear takes a lot of space. Even like if in 100 pairs, it takes around like 10 to 10, like it takes around 100 square feet area.
I would want to understand what can help.
Yesterday I was in Blinkit's office, so I saw the Puma and Adidas. These guys are launching on Blinkit now, so they've cracked a deal with them. But even what the problem with the quick commerce, even we guys are facing right now, that from 1 year we are listed. So these guys have categorized the products. Like if you want a milk or a curd, that comes in a reputation. But where the cosmetic comes in or the electronics come in, these guys have kept it in the B category, where we face the truncation issues. So like there is a space constraint in a dark store, where they have around like 980 dark stores of Blinkit right now, as of now. But in every dark store, they place a product, right? If a trimmer is there, so you will get only 2 to 3 products of a trimmer kept there, right? Then after, like in a day, if your 3 trimmers are sold off, they will not replenish the inventory. They will do it for milk, they'll do it for curd, but they'll not do it for our category, right? So once your third product is sold out, then it's sold out. Then eventually the second brand gets, even if that's very right, that even if the person is not wanting a product in 10 minutes, now they've made a habit ki trimmer 2 दिन बाद भी आ सकता है. There's no hurry. But why should I wait for 2 days when I'm getting in 10 minutes? So yeah, there's a lot of truncation issues that these guys are facing right now.
Gagan, your point, and also how are you kind of pivoting given these changes, given the change in consumer behavior, their expectations, their demands, and also the infra and the supply chain issues? How are you seeing all these changes, and how are you, given these changes, you pivoting?
If I'll talk about the changes, which I remember back in when I started my career, I saw Domino's was the first player into F&B industry who was into quick commerce. I would say where they were promising to deliver the pizza within 30 minutes, right? And if I'll talk about till now, still the challenges which we face here into ice cream industry, that is basically the logistic. Logistic is one of the biggest challenge, because when let's say if I'm going through a Zomato and Swiggy, it happens like the same way. If I'm getting it delivered through Zomato and Swiggy, it is Zomato and Swiggy, maybe they are not coming up with a cold pouches or something like that. In that case, what happens is when it is reaching to the consumers, the products somehow get destroyed, and then the end users is not getting the right product at that time, when always a brand brand is the only one who is getting responsible to deliver the wrong product, right? In that case, somehow we are facing that sort of challenge. But the thing is, thanks to recently through Blinkit and Zepto sort of quick commerce, which has delivered the products within 7, 8 or 10 minutes maximum, the ice cream which I saw, but the only challenge is that I cannot keep the whole category of my product over there. I do have to keep a limited inventory over there, or else the inventory is biggest issue over there. That sort of challenge we are facing, but still thanks to, because I started with a physical store first, and now I'm entering into D2C segment, right, where we are trying to deliver the products till our end users safely. But the thing is, again, we are still not into that sort of very I would say very quick commerce where I'm getting it delivered within 10 minutes. But yes, we are entering into this, and we are trying to find out a solution for this also, because that is a challenge for the frozen industry is definitely there. And because reaching, still if I'll talk about the non-veg products or something like that, it is reaching, and then people do use it immediately. But at the same time, ice cream is something which people wants to use it now, and then they will store it in the their freezer, and they will use it later on as well. If you are not getting the right product at that time, it is definitely a challenge. So for us, still we are trying to find out a right solution for it, and we are into it. I mean, I'm sure we'll crack this also.
You will. You are yet to crack that, but you will. In the last set of questions, we have 12 minutes, 2 minutes each. I really want to gauge what is that one big trend that you are looking forward to. This is our annual practice. We are talking in December. In next year, you can talk about your specific sectors, but also from a bird eye view. What is that one big trend that you are looking forward to in retail sector? One big trend that you are looking forward to. Anybody can start.
I would like to add in this is the market is entering more into premiumization. Like that overall, what we have seen in last year, and we guys are also entering into that. We are launching a range in January, which is a category where you will see the products which a brand like Dyson is doing, but they're charging too much premium out of it. So we're coming up with a series of products which actually people will get with the same premiumization, same technology, more better features, better design. So what we are seeing is a market is shifting towards the premiumization. People want good products. They're ready to pay a little bit higher price, but they want product which can last for a longer time rather spending 1,000 or a 2,000 rupee product. So this is what we have been seeing.
I think, I mean, he's right. I mean, while there is a market which is moving towards, premiumization, we're seeing that across categories. I mean, more SUVs are selling, larger televisions are selling today, more iPhones, bigger screens. But while all that is happening, I think what I'm seeing is there is, and I made this statement a lot of times, and I'll repeat it, that India has a lot of India within it. And I feel within the India that we hold within it is the India too, and I feel that's what's going to be the next big wave, and I think that's what at least I'm building for. While I mean we do have the largest population of Gen Z, but I think we cannot ignore the fact that there is a very, very large India too, and they are the ones who are the aspirant class, they are the ones who are spending, they are the ones who want access to, the best things. So I think the trend, what I would see that, I mean, apart from your Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, there is this entire wave of India too, which is going to, I think, have phenomenal results in terms of economic results to the country, and other than that, to the brand. So I think we need to get out there and probably listen to them, because I think they are going to be the real consumer.
Good to know. So one is premiumization, India within India. Akshay, want to go?
So I agree with Saahil, so I come from Ludhiana, and so not just economic products, premium products, they sell really well in smaller cities. They are actually looking for, products which are not accessible to them. So, when you go to, Punjab, or when you go to even Himachal, or when you go to so many towns, you will see much more business than you're getting it from Delhi, Bombay. So personally for my brand as well, I see more business coming from tier 2, tier 3 cities than coming from tier 1. So, लोग कहते हैं Delhi, Bombay, यार वहाँ पर कर लो. But like I personally feel मैं लुधियाना में हूँ ना, अगर मैं आसपास भी कर लूँ ना, I can really build a very big brand than, even moving to Delhi, Bombay. So this is something, I feel, it's going to be trend. Plus also, men's have also started to get into more of skincare and, beauty and all.
Men are beautiful.
Men are beautiful, like he's saying. So,
it's a men panel, and on this point, they deserve a round of applause.
Yeah. So it's not like, कि आज, it used to be very stereotyped, कि women के लिए ही है skincare or, makeup and all. Like, I get my products from South Korea and all these. I've seen guys using makeup and skincare. So I feel, eventually, not talking about makeup, but skincare for sure, guys are going to get big time into it. It's just a matter of time, whether it's, any kind of treatments or whatever it is, but it's going to be a very big market, I see.
So in case of an footwear and sneakers, I would say I would say there are three things that what I see in 2025. The first is like how fashion and footwear will do on a quick commerce thing. So how fashion will evolve in 2025 in quick commerce. The second is collabs. Like in 2024, also we witnessed like a lot of collabs happening with any like FMCG having collab with fashion and like BPC category having collab with fashion. So now there is no barrier in it. So even we as a brand is looking to do crazy collabs with like a brand so that we can make more product and make more footwear more aspirational for our customers. And the third is the licenses. So making more licensed product where where there is a limitation towards there is an aspirational value towards it, and people connect with those characters and those things. So I think that is the three things that I see in 2025 will take place in footwear and industry space. Yeah.
Gagan?
So in 2025, I personally see something like, as like, the marketing and the, educating consumers basically. That is something which is biggest factor, while like, although we are launching a lot of products where we want them to give them like, make them their healthy eating habits and all those. But in 2025, which I personally see nowadays, the trends has changed a lot. People, they are more educated towards eating what they're eating, and also I personally see a shift between like, as I mentioned before also, like since I was into a physical thing first, like, but we are starting our D2C segment as well. So this 2025, I think the D2C segment will give us a boom, and then where we will reach and like, our target audience. And till now, like, having like 53 physical stores, I think we were not able to cater everyone. But this year, this coming 2025, I'll at least reach like my potential consumers, like who they want my product to get delivered at their doorstep.
Good to know. We wish you all the best for that. Kamaljit, with your closing remarks, I also want you to stress a little more on how data is helping startups.
Okay, sure. So let me just start with the trend part first, which I kind of see. So gratification, like all of you said, gratification is one of the key things. So how quick gratification is seeping in, and with Amazon Tej coming, for example, things are going to change drastically in 25. So everybody who's soaring right now on the dark stores in 24 will find it very difficult in 25. And Amazon is going to give it, so they are going to come out with a very, very large number of these stores which are very, very local. And as a result, those who are already listed on Amazon, for example, it is slightly easier for them, because if they are giving business back to the platform, it will be easier. So if you are, let us say, not on some of these places, so Amazon, Flipkart, Big Basket already is there. So on both these places, creating that extra wriggle is extremely important, number one. Number two, having a minimum national spend on TV media or some media is also extremely important, because if your brand recall is not in place, it is very difficult for most of these stores. Even Amazon might find it difficult to create physical inventory if it doesn't see a natural pull which is coming for the brand. So there are going to be measures for that. So this is one of the biggest thing, I think. So you would see startups doing more national advert going forward, because they have to create that pull so that listing is in place in most of these big guys. So, I mean, that's one, I think not so visible thing right now, but probably you will see it. As far as data is concerned, and the guy is going to be smarter, all customers are smarter. I'm myself guilty, reacting to what Natwar was saying, that why 20-25% returns are there. If I have to choose one shoe, I'll actually request 3. And because I know I'm going to send back 2 and I'm going to select 1 out of those 3. And I want all the comfort that I want to really have. It's a different matter that, I recently got a Nike, and Nike, I didn't get it in the store. And then I had to go online, order it from another place. It came from another country, and then it had all the features, thankfully, which we wanted it. So customization, which you really need, fast becomes faster, smart becomes smarter, and for that you really need data. So I've spoken about everything except how data is going to play a role. But AI ML is there to support and make things faster as of now in the next year is how I see it. It is not going to bring a lot of new things, but it is just going to make your business speed up a little. Who to invest in? What are the right customers? You don't want to create a portfolio of people who may not, over a period of time stick with you, or who are, moving on in several categories which are, kind of durables. You could call your category a semi-durable, if not durable, for example. But if any of you are dealing in, let's say, fast-moving goods, so for fast-moving, having the right set of customers is extremely, extremely important, because they are the ones who have a choice, share of wallet, whether they are coming to you or going elsewhere. They can flip very quickly. So what are the data tricks? What are the AI, ML scenarios that you could build that they stick around? Loyalty is templatized today, I say that, but then somebody has to really make those investments internally to make sure customers stick around. So customer loyalty is going to be very important, and I feel AI ML is the way to kind of build that.
I really want to nudge Sahil a little bit more on his point where he said about customers. We understand that customer connection, customer loyalty plays a role, but in a segment where we see high competition, tough competition, it's a very crowded category right now. Everybody looks out for specific customization, as he said. I really want a lipstick which is organic. I mean, XYZ expectations and demands. How do you, and what is that one thing that you leverage to stand out, to kind of be able to meet that demand? How are you able to stand out in such a highly competitive space, and which is a lot more crowded? I mean, I'm not really keen to understand what specifically are you doing. I really want to understand the broader understanding, how one beauty brand can stand out. What is that customers looking out for?
So I think again very specific to not just Mila Beauty but to the makeup category per se. Loyalty is very, very tough, right? And I think obviously I don't want to get into and delve into retention marketing, CRM, and all the things that we try our level best to try and bring a customer back. But I mean you being a girl, I mean if you're going to buy your your favorite nude lipstick shade, but there is another brand who is also probably giving you another nude lipstick shade, you are going to jump into the other brand.
Options
because
are tempting.
yes,
Yeah.
because I mean that's how the category is. It is what we call a very flirtatious category. It is a very flirtatious category. But I think the only thing which we can do is to bring innovation and to keep bringing in new trends. So I think that is the only way where how you can bring the customer back into the brand. He or she may not come back to the product, but he or she may and will come back to the brand provided you keep bringing them new things, new innovation. So if they have dropped off from the lipstick, they will come back for the lip oil. If they dropped off from the lip oil, you bring a holographic eyeliner. If they dropped off the holographic eyeliner, you bring them a concealer palette, you bring them a cream blusher. So there's constant innovation. So by the end of it, they have about 4 products of yours in their house. Then they're going to come back and repeat on one. So the idea is to kind of work, I mean, at least for us at Mila Beauty, we are trying to work on their basket size because that's the only way we can ensure that the customer comes back. So I think we cannot fall back on R&D, research, trends. We have to hop onto it really fast. I mean, if the US and the Europe market is doing it, we need to do it at lightning speed.
I appreciate the great stress on R&D. Himanshu, when I would want to push you a little more on the business end of it. We understand how customers are behaving right now. The Gen Z set of customers are right now very not too traditional, I would say. On the business side of it, let's say segment of your customers are not anymore loyal to you. How are you evaluating that shift in consumer behavior that also impacting your balance sheet?
See, like when you talk about the consumers, consumer is the king, right? Like they decide what to take and what not to take. So in our case, usually, like our purchases are not repetitive. Like in cosmetics or skincare, like you want a different shade every third day. In our category, it's usually not like if a person buys we face a lot of problem in the repeat rate. Like usually the brands, they have a 30% repeat rate or a 20%. We are one where in the 6 months of cohort, we have a repeat ratio of only 7 to 8%. Right? If someone has taken a trimmer, we are offering a 2-year replacement warranty to the consumer. Like, so he won't buy another trimmer. And usually now there has been a shift. Like earlier, it was only one trimmer which they used to use it for the entire body. But now you will see a person will have a separate trimmer for a beard and separate trimmer for the body. So that's what we have seen. And people have started going more into multi-groomers, like more of accessories driven. So repeat has something which has been a problem for us. But how usually you do is that if you're giving a trimmer, probably then you will pitch for a callus remover, and then you will pitch for a LED mask. So that's what we do again. So the person has to have good 3-4 products to try out another one. So
Thank you so much for such an insightful panel. I got new insights. There's India within India, and men are also now on to big time skincare and a lot more insights. Thank you so much for making time for this panel. Thank you so much. Can we have a huge round of applause for the panel?